We all think we know the Christmas story, right? But what if I told you that buried under all the tinsel and carols is this really radical idea about what strength actually is? And it has nothing to do with power or kings. It starts with the most unexpected people imaginable. Okay, so think about this for a second. If, like, the biggest news in the history of the world was about to drop, who would you tell first? You think it would be the VIPs, the influencers, the people with power, right? But that's not what happened. The angels, they went to a bunch of shepherds. So the question is, why on earth them? And you see, here's the thing we kind of miss today. Back then, shepherds weren't these romantic storybook figures. Not at all. They were basically low-wage workers, the overlooked, unseen people doing the tough, lonely jobs on the fringes of society. So for the angels to show up to them first, that's sending a message. It's flipping the world's value system completely on its head. The people society pushes to the side, yeah, they're the ones who get a front row seat. All right, but the shepherds, they're really just the start of the story. The real core of this whole idea, the most mind-blowing part, actually has to do with the baby at the center of it all. We see all the pictures of a cute little baby in the manger, and it's easy to just go, oh, how sweet. But let's stop for a second. Let's get real and think about what it actually means to be a baby, like from a purely practical, biological standpoint. There's a reason we don't remember our first couple of years, right? It's because we are in a state of total helplessness. Think about it. You can't feed yourself. You can't clean yourself. You definitely can't protect yourself from anything. You are, for all intents and purposes, completely powerless. Your survival, 100%, depends on someone else taking care of you. And this is where it gets really wild, especially when you compare us to, well, pretty much any other animal. A baby horse, a foal, can be up and running within a few hours of being born. But a human baby? It takes years just to become basically self-sufficient. We are without a doubt the most vulnerable, most helpless life form on the entire planet when we're born. So just let that sink in. The creator of everything chose to show up not just as a person, but as the absolute most fragile, most dependent, most powerless version of a person imaginable. What a crazy paradox, right? The most powerful being in existence willingly chooses to become completely powerless, to become what this quote calls a care receiver. There weren't any special effects in that manger. It was just the real, messy, dependent reality of being a baby. He needed to be fed, he needed his diapers changed, he needed someone to keep him warm and safe. So this isn't just about being weak. It goes deeper. It's about a really risky kind of surrender. This was an active choice, a decision to place his entire life into the hands of other people. And you see this pattern play out over and over. At birth, he's totally dependent on this poor young couple for literally everything, warmth, shelter, you name it. As an infant, well, we've covered that. He needed to be fed, changed, all of it. But then look at his childhood. When a powerful king wants to kill him, he doesn't zap the king with lightning. No way. He needs his parents to grab him and run for their lives. He had to be protected. He put his entire life in the hands of, well, regular, imperfect people. Okay, so what does a story from 2,000 years ago have to do with us? Right here, right now? Well, it's because it gives us this incredible blueprint for a totally different way to live. It's an invitation to practice, well, you could call it a kind of sacred weakness. So what does that actually look like in real life? Well, for ourselves, step one is just taking off the mask. You know the one, the I've got it all together, I must be perfect mask. It's about admitting it's okay to need help. It's okay to be tired or anxious. Asking for help isn't failing, it's actually an act of trust. And then step two is about doing that for other people, creating a space where our friends, our family can take their masks off too, a place where they know it's safe to be vulnerable and say, hey, I'm struggling. And all of this, it brings us to the real heart of the matter. This story gives us a definition of strength that is just completely the opposite of what the world tells us strength is. Think about it. Our culture is all about having control, right? Winning, getting ahead. We're taught to put on armor, hide our weaknesses, never let them see us sweat. But the choice we see in this story, it's the polar opposite. It's about willingly becoming powerless. It's about surrendering control. It's about finding strength not by hiding your weakness, but by being vulnerable enough to show it. So maybe true strength isn't about being invincible after all. What if real strength is actually having the courage to say, I need you? Admitting that we're a little powerless sometimes, that's not failure. In fact, that's the very thing that opens up the space for other people, for connection, and for love to actually come into our lives. And that's really the final thought to chew on. In a world that screams at you to hide every weakness, to always be strong and in control, what would actually change for you? In your job, with your family, in your closest relationships? What would happen if you started seeing your vulnerability not as a liability to be hidden, but as the very thing that makes real, true connection possible?